Colin, your reaction to today's Beirut blast, the killing of the Hamas official? Who else besides Israel would have done this?
Well, no, this is Israel. There's no question about it. And you could even see in Regev's remarks and trying to totally skirt the line. But this is a big strike. This is a signal not only to Hamas, but to Iran, because Salah al-Aruri is known to be close to the leadership in Iran. And look, Andrea, let's be clear. This conflict has been a regional conflict from day one, but we're now seeing spillover violence escalating into Syria, into Lebanon, and elsewhere. And there's real concerns that this could drag in other major actors in the region and kind of amplify some of the violence we've already been seeing.
General Twitty, there's some comments privately from military in the U.S., current and former, that the U.S. has to be more aggressive, that deterrence is not working and it's getting awfully close, and that the U.S. now has to do something more kinetic.
Well, as you know, our stance has been in deterrence and self-protection or force protection for our troops. And as you can see, it is not working. The incidents that occurred in Syria, Iraq, in the Red Sea over the weekend, it's not working, and we may have to move to a more preemptive strike methods inside Yemen if we continue to get these attacks on U.S. forces, and if our commercial shipping lanes continue to be threatened. And I know the Pentagon and others are looking at this. Right now, we'll remain in the stance that we're in, but as this ratchet ups, I think we're going to see a more proactive role by U.S. forces and our coalition that's now in the Mediterranean and the Red Sea that are protecting those shipping lanes.
And Michael Crowley, your paper, the New York Times, had an extensive report just yesterday. There have been other reports as well. We've done some reporting on this about the growing tensions, clearly apparent with what General Austin had to say at the Reagan Library, with what the president had to say at a fundraiser, with what Secretary Blinken has been saying about the level of civilian casualties inside Gaza and the way Israel has been targeting and moving people around, displacing them, telling them to go to a safe zone, and then the safe zone gets hit. Do you see any sign that the Netanyahu war cabinet is heeding that advice and is going to try to minimize the civilian casualties?
Not much sign, Andrea. Unfortunately, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, before the holidays, said that he continued to see a gap between what the U.S. was looking for and what was happening on the ground. Also a gap between what he called, he was, I guess, charitable in saying that the Israelis might have certain intentions to limit casualties, but that what matters is the results. In other words, good intentions aren't enough if there's still very high casualties. So the bottom line is U.S. officials still believe that the death toll is too high. It at least appears disproportionate to the military gains. Israeli officials have been saying that they expect Secretary Blinken back in Israel early this month. So we'll see more of those difficult conversations, I'm sure. And among other things, I think he'll be trying to assess the significance of this at least partial withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. It does not look like that's the beginning of the end, but maybe they are shifting the way they're going to conduct these operations. And I think the hope among U.S. officials is that the offensive is becoming more targeted, less massive bombardment of apartment blocks, and maybe something more akin to what we think of as special operations raids on Hamas targets. But it's very unclear what's happening on the ground in there right now.